Welcome everyone. This is track A breakout room, if you hadn't figured that out yet. In track A, we will spend the first half of the session reviewing the graphics library, which is a PowerPoint file. And then for the second half, we'll move on to the e-Postcards, which are comprised of 2 Word files and uses the mail merge feature in Outlook. These resources were available for download as part of your prep work, and we will also upload these resources to the chat box at the end of the session in case you haven't downloaded them yet. We originally created this graphics library for an infographics workshop we did a few years ago, and I know a couple of people in this room were part of that workshop. And this graphics library contains custom illustrations we created in PowerPoint based on target audiences and messages the managers indicated they wanted for the infographics, which was pretty much EMS and EMSC focus. We created these illustrations in PowerPoint because PowerPoint is an easy to use tool for creating infographics. All managers have and are familiar with PowerPoint, and managers would be able to edit the illustrations if they desired. Since that workshop, we have reorganized the illustrations by topic and added some additional illustrations we thought you might find useful. In this session, we will orient you to the illustrations available in the graphics library. I'll demo how you can edit some illustrations, and then I'll also demo how you can paste illustrations into other documents, specifically the publisher report that Eddie showed in track 1. So let's get started. If you have the file already downloaded, you're welcome to follow along. I will be moving very quickly through this because we have a short amount of time. So just to let you know that I'm not trying to lose you in my dust. But please remember that this session is being recorded like the other sessions, and the recording will be available on our website for your reference. All right, so the first thing I want to open, and like I said, if you are going to follow along, you're welcome to, is the NEDARC Graphics Library _2020.
Andrea, you have 20 minutes left.
Thank you. All right, can everyone see the graphics library? It's a PowerPoint file.
Yes, we can see the PowerPoint.
Thank you. All right, so in this, like I said, it's a PowerPoint file. We create custom illustrations. What we did is for the very first slide, we put a Creative Commons so that you know that you can use these illustrations for anything you want. They're copyright free, they're royalty free, all of that. If you want to give a nod to NEDARC, we would appreciate that, but you don't have to. And this is also, in some cases, some managers have to show this to essentially their PR department to be able to use any of the illustrations and anything they create. Now, I could use the standard view and go through the slides, but that doesn't facilitate you understanding all the sections. So I'm going to use a different layout version for you. At the bottom, when you open up this document, what would help you review all the slides and all the illustrations on the slides is at the bottom, you'll see notes, comments, you'll see normal, and then you'll also see slide sorter. So click on the slide sorter. When you do that, it makes it a little bit easier to see all the different sections, and I'll scroll down soon and go through those. So we already covered the Creative Commons. Then we have 3 slides with states, and all of these, you can grab your state out. It's very similar to what Eddie showed in the track 1 with the publisher report, because he also had some slides that went with that. So people could put their individual state in. We also have a section that's first responder vehicles with a bunch of different styles and types of vehicles that we illustrated for you. We have 1 slide for EMS personnel, but we have lots of EMS related sections in here. We also have the Star of Life, so there's different ways you can use that as well. We have EMS equipment, a bunch of 2 slides with a bunch of different illustrations there. As you can see, there's some additional EMS personnel there. We also have a general medical section of just different medical things that people had requested for the infographics workshop, and since then we've added some additional. We have all the hospital stuff thrown together in one, so it's easy for you to find. It has personnel, it has the buildings and vehicles and some equipment. Then we have the people. So the people are a bigger section. We have very simple icons all the way through more elaborate illustrations. And this was all drawn in PowerPoint using shapes. So you can take any of these and modify them to your needs.
Andrea, we have a question from Amy.
Sure.
Can we use these on the report we saw in track 1?
Yes, you can. In fact, I will be showing that shortly, how you can edit one and then paste it in, how you can do that. So great question.
Great, thanks.
Was there another one that the thing popped up?
No, I just replied to Amy. So
Okay.
That was her question.
All right. All right. So then we also have the children area as well. I wanted that separate from the people, because the people, you can tell, are generally adults. But also I wanted you to be able to find the children specifically, but we also have things associated with children. In there we have like bikes, bike helmets, car seats, and school related stuff, as well as the EMSC bear that we drew in here for you. And I wanted to point out slide 28 specifically for you. You might notice there's 5 little girls there, and that's actually just a picture I put in. And I chose this picture because they have a bunch of different skin tones. And that way, and then right below that, we have the skin tone colors codes. So if you take one of these pictures of a person and you wanted to change the skin tone on them to represent one of these different skin tone groups, you can do that, and you have the codes readily available for you. And if I were to click on that slide specifically, I can see it a little bit easier. So let me go back to the slide sorter view. Then we also have a section on safety through there, and that's about 4 slides. Then we have buildings, so a bunch of different building types you can use. As you can see, one manager had done something on windows and children falling out of windows. And then we have nature. Remember, we have the continental United States and interlocked states, as well as the islands. So we try to be inclusive of different types of nature that could be encountered. We have a few disaster things. And you can also create your own scenes and other disasters and other things that you want to, just by pulling a bunch of different illustrations together that we have here. Then we have transportation, which includes the roads, as well as road signs and different vehicles that we drew for you, all the way up to a spaceship. And then we also have just some computer stuff for you, because maybe you want to have something with a computer on it, and then you can put illustrations in it to represent a scene that's online or something. We also have the section of banners here. It gives you a bunch of different choices you can you have to choose from. And then the last section we have is miscellaneous, and it's just a hodgepodge of different things. All right, so I'm going to go up, and now I'll demonstrate how you can edit. And I'm going to go to the EMS personnel, because I thought this one would probably be the most relevant for your needs and interest. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. All right. Sorry, if you scroll down too much, it goes to the next slide. Trying to minimize this. All right. So for those of you who attended the track 1 session where Eddie was showing the report, and Amy mentioned it here, you might have noticed that there were some EMS people very similar to this one, because we used this graphics library to put the images that you saw in that report. So let's say you didn't like the colors of the shirts of the EMS people that were in that report. And in that report, it was just the people, there was no vehicle behind them. So there is a way you can edit this. So the first thing I always do is I make a copy even of my own illustrations in case I mess up. And the way I do that, I'll undo, is, sorry, sometimes I can move too quickly, is I click on the illustration, and this is all grouped together. But these are all individual shapes. I click on it, and then holding down the control key on my keyboard, and at the same time hitting the D as in dog, it will duplicate it. So I'll move that off, and that's in case I mess anything up. All right, so this is the image we'll work on. And if I think, well, I don't want the ambulance, so I'm going to click there and then I'm going to hit delete. As you can see, the whole thing goes away. And the reason is because all those shapes are grouped into one. So I'll undo. So if I want to get rid of a part of this illustration that's all grouped, what I need to do is I need to go to the format, click on it, and then go to the format tab under the picture tools, click there. And then on the right-hand side, I will see the option for a group. So if I click the down arrow on that, I'll get ungroup. And I will want to keep clicking on the ungroup until it's no longer an option. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. So ungroup. You can see then it starts having all these boxes around everything, and then ungroup again. And then I'll go back to the format again, and then ungroup. And then I'll go to ungroup again, and now ungroup is grayed out. So now I know that everything has been ungrouped. So all of the shapes are individual shapes here now. All right. So now when I want to get rid of the ambulance, I just have to click on parts of the ambulance and start deleting. All right, so now I have the ambulance gone and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to, this is exactly what I want. I just want the 2 EMS people. I'm gonna scroll in a little bit more, trying to make it as big on the screen as possible for you. All right, so when I do that, before I put it into the publisher file, meaning that report, I would have to edit here, because once I paste it into publisher, it's just an image. And as you know, you can't edit the image, whereas you can edit the colors and shapes in PowerPoint. So let's say I want to change their shirt color. So I'm going to change her shirt color. So I click on it, and then I go to format, and then I can choose a shape color here. I might have another picture I could bring in that I like the color in, bring the picture in and use the eyedropper. Or since turquoise is kind of our color theme, I'm going to choose turquoise for her. And then I notice her style is a little different than his shirt. So I can click on his shirt, and there's also blue, and I can click there. And now they have the same kind of style for their shirts, and they both have a bluish shirt. So the next thing I need to do is I need to group these all together, because if I don't group them and I want to resize them, it's going to distort everything. And let me demonstrate that for you. So let's say I just select all of these. I'm going to just do this really quick. I'm going to show you a better way to select. I do that, and then if I think, okay, well, I just want this picture to be a little bit smaller, that's what happens if I haven't grouped them. It makes it a mess and distorts everything. So I want to undo. So before I do that, I need to select all of the shapes in this and then group them together. So to select everything, if this was the only illustration on the page, or I should say on the slide, I could just do Control A. However, there's a bunch of other different illustrations. So instead, what I need to do is select the ones I want. So I could click on each one and try to make sure I got everything, but there's many different shapes that go into making this, so you might miss one. The easier way is to move your cursor outside of the area for the illustration or the shapes you want to group together. And then holding down the left button on my mouse, and while I'm holding that down, drag over the area and make sure I encompass the entire area and don't include any other illustration with it. And once I do that, it will definitely select everything in there. And then I go to Format, and then I go to Group. And now it's one shape. I can still go in there and I could change like colors of things, like maybe I wanted to change his hair color to a different color. I could do that. It's still editable like that. It's it becomes uneditable when I paste it in as an image. Okay, so let's say we're good with that. And I want to now put this in that report. So I can copy it. So I can go to home and copy. I never remember the shortcut for copy, so that's why I'm showing you the long way. And then I can minimize this, and I have a copy of that state report that Eddie showed in track 1. Open that up. And let's say like I didn't want the red and blue shirts, so I can move them off. And then what I need to do is I need to paste that illustration in here because I want to replace them. So I go to the paste option under the home tab, and I need to choose paste special. So when I go there, I have some different options. Most people default to JPEG, but JPEG is actually the lowest quality of image you could put in. PNG is a better option. So go with PNG and do OK. And then I can move this up over, and then using the corners, I can resize this illustration. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. And then I'll need to keep resizing till I get everything aligned up the way I need it to be. Because Eddie showed in his how we have all these guidelines on here to help you make sure you can get everything lined up. Then when I feel like I have it good, I can leave it. And as you can see now, I can't edit any part of it because it's a flat image. So that concludes showing you the graphics library and how you can use it, and also how you can use it in other documents and edit. About that. So I wanted to ask you, what are some other ways you think you might use the illustrations in the graphics library? You can enter your answers in the chat, or you can unmute.
Andrea, this is Cindy, and when I presented the results in a PowerPoint, it was really just all graphics and numbers, and it was to our champions. I think using these graphics will draw the attention of the EMS chiefs at a meeting in December. It'll just make the slides nicer to look at.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice. Natasha says in Canvas for social media post.
Okay. Are you thinking then, Candace, that you would convert it to a PNG and then upload it?
I'm sorry, it was Natasha, not Candace.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. I wasn't exactly sure what she meant. Do you want to tell us a little bit more, either via telephone or in the chat?
Yeah, so when I do my social media posts, I'll make images in Canva, and then I use a snippet to copy and paste it into Facebook to do the post.
Ah. Okay, I said Canvas. I'm sorry, and you meant Canva. Yep.
All right. So we're down to 5 minutes. I saw Patty's little thing pop up. I can start showing you the templates for the next part of the session. All right, I'll skip the PowerPoint. So one thing is this one. I suggest you only watch so that you don't accidentally send a bunch of fake emails to your EMS agencies. Okay, so I'm going to open up the respondent thank you mail merge. Okay, so this is created in Word and it's in a table. You can see that it's in a table by these little dash lines. However, when it would be sent out via mail merge, or even if you're copy it and paste it into an email, it wouldn't show those. It's only because I've activated to be able to see where the grid lines are. And to do that, it's under the, I click on the table and then I go to layout and it's view grid lines. So as soon as I uncheck that, it goes away. And then I check it again and I can see it. And that just helps me with seeing where everything is. So this is designed to be for mail merge. If I decided I did not want to mail merge, like I'm not able to, I don't have Outlook, my office doesn't allow it because some of the managers were unable, I would just go ahead and delete this. And this is fully editable because it's just text like in a normal Word document. And let's start editing this together. All right, so you would enter your state. The state EMS for Children program would like to thank you. I'm going to put in Utah simply because that's where I currently live. We appreciate you completing the EMS for Children survey in early 2020. And you might have noticed we have an official name for the survey now. It's EMS for Children survey. And we've put that on all of our branding materials that we've created. The data you provided will help us determine benchmarks in the areas of pediatric emergency care coordination, the use of pediatric specific equipment. And please note that we will be conducting the same brief survey in conjunction with the National EMS for Children Data Analysis Resource Center in early 2021. That was one of the things that was identified, is that for an opportunity for improvement is to make sure that EMS agencies understand the connection of NEDARC with the state EMSC program. So we added that in there. Please consider participating again when you receive the invitation. And then as an early thank you, I will be emailing you a state report of the results. If you don't plan on using that state report that Eddie showed in track 1, like we said, as this is fully editable for you, you can delete that. Let's say I'm not able to use that report because my PR office won't allow it for whatever reason. And then we have in here, it's the resource for the EMS Ready Joint Policy Statement. You can keep that or leave it, and we made it as a hyperlink. And even if we paste it into an email or use mail merge, that hyperlink will work for people. And then the last part is I can just go ahead and enter my contact information. And then the state I said was Utah. And then
we might get kicked out. It's 1:45. So I just wanted you to know.
Yeah, I understand. So that's all you'd have to do and save it. Your NEDARC TA can help you with mail merge if you want to do mail merge and you're not sure how to do it. However, if you plan on doing mail merge, one thing you would have to do is you would want to put your signature there. So what you would do is you would open up a new email, and then you can grab your signature and then just paste it in here. And so I just selected paste your email signature line here, and then Control V to paste it in.
Andrea, did you upload those files already, or can you upload them for folks?
I can't do it till the end, and we're probably going to be kicked out ahead of time. We can still send it to people. It's in the Google Drive as well.
Okay, and we could always post it to the main room when we go back.
Yep, and it's kicking us out of the breakout room now.
Thanks, everybody.